Welcome back, everybody, to Vibrations and Libations. I'm James.
And I'm Keith.
As always, we're listening to some awesome music, and we're going to hopefully drink a good beer tonight. We've not had this beer, but we'll get to that in just a minute. So what are we listening to tonight, Keith?
Listen to Nine Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral.
Arguably one of the top 10 albums released in the 1990s, I would have to say. It's in my top 10 list of favorite albums.
You've got that much?
I've got what? 10 albums?
You've got 10 albums?
I do have 10 albums, yes.
Wow. You know, James brought up this top 10 list of albums, suggested to me. And I was like, maybe we can narrow down to 5. That's impossible for me.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't do 5.
Mine are, it's like in flux all the time.
Yeah, it's a rotating list for me, but I do have some, rock steady choices on my list. And I've said before, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Deja Vu is one of them. This is another one. So maybe we could do a multi-part series of top 10 albums, Keith.
Oh, man.
Maybe.
I'm too moody.
Well, this could be the best album for you to listen to right now if you're really moody. So
maybe.
Okay, so like he said, we're listening to The Downward Spiral. This, I think, is a complete masterpiece of music.
I agree, 100%.
It is just, from beginning to the end, it's just great.
We'll probably end up gushing over this album and not even rating it because
definitely.
It'll be pointless.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be pointless to rate this album. I mean, I've already said it's in my top 10 favorite albums, and so just forget about a rating tonight. If we rate anything, it'll be the beer, which is, by the way, tonight we're going to be drinking Sweetwater 420 strain Chocolope Stout. Get that in there. Chocolope Stout. I really like the name of it, and we've tried some 420 strain before from the Sweetwater company.
Yes, we've had the Mango Kush and the 420 strain IPA.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had the 420, just the regular 420 IPA, which is not a 420 strain. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The 420 strain, by the way, folks, has like terrapins. Terrapins.
You can say it, not me. So
something.
Not turtles.
Whatever that means, or however you pronounce that, in it that make it smell and have a little bit of a flavor of cannabis.
Cannabis. There's the C word.
Yeah.
Okay, so I especially like the name Chocolope Stout, and Keith was reading a little bit about where that name comes from. Do you remember anything about that?
It comes from a famous strain of the marijuana.
The marijuana.
Please move the kids away. Make sure that your grandmother doesn't hear us say that.
Right. So the other 420 strains that we've had before kind of have that aroma.
Yes.
So I'm curious if we open this up, and it's a stout. It's stout season, my favorite time of year, where the liquor shelves are just stocked. Beer shelves are just stocked with different kinds of stouts from all different breweries, and I love stouts. It's no secret. That's my favorite style of beer. So I'm really excited about trying this. It really got me when I saw this in a variety pack, and I was like, I've not had that stout yet. I want to buy it just for that, and that's why I bought it, just to try this out. So we're doing that tonight. So should we go ahead and open it?
Let's crack them and pour.
Crack them.
And while we're pouring, I'll say some facts.
You are like the Cliff Clavin of musical facts. So go right ahead, sir.
Immediately.
Immediately, yeah.
It was immediately. It's like somebody opened a quarter bag in here.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can pour this without.
Oh man, you're the stout pourer though. Gotta have some head there, James.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Everybody deserves head.
Exactly. All right, I think.
All right.
All right, here we go.
This album was released on March 8th, 1994, which I looked that up and I was surprised by that because this album was actually my first CD purchase, compact disc purchase, and I was stuck with the cassette tapes for a long time, but my senior year I got a CD player in my car, and this was the first CD I bought.
a good choice.
It was a good choice. First concert was
Really?
on this tour.
We went to that same show.
Did we?
I think we did.
Well,
Robert Stadium, Evansville, Indiana.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
And went with Jeremy Kirtley.
I went with Bill Wallace and a few other people, but yeah, I think we ended up meeting up at the concert.
With the Jim Rose Circus.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, and who else played that night? Jim Rose.
Pop will eat himself.
Pop will eat itself. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I don't want to get started on that. But anyhow, go ahead.
But anyway, it was the second studio album by Nine Inch Nails. And it debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Top 200. And in 1998, I believe, just over 4 years, because it was released in March of 94. In October of 98, it was certified quadruple platinum.
Wow.
And so I think Trent Reznor didn't expect it to be a commercial success
Yeah.
that it was. All he wanted to do was broaden the scope of Nine Inch Nails. Their style, their music, their genre, whatever. And he started recording this album in 1992 and was going to release it in 93, but didn't think it was quite finished. I think he had a little bit of writer's block and didn't want to push it. And so when he gave it to the studio, he felt like it was complete. He didn't apologize for it. I think a few people freaked out over it.
Yeah.
And the album is a concept album based on the downward spiral of a man from the beginning of like depression all the way to suicide. And that's depressing to think about, but
Well, that's a deep subject, but sometimes deep subjects are,
right.
good to talk about and bring out into the open like that.
And they lead to great art as well. And that's what I feel. I feel like that this album is one of the most important albums of all time because of that fact. Because it's unapologetically just, he held nothing back. He put it all in there.
Right.
Everything he wanted to do, he did.
Yeah.
And it got released that way.
Yeah.
I applaud him. I applaud the music industry itself
Yeah.
for not fucking with him.
Yeah, exactly. Letting him put out what he wanted to put out.
Right.
I remember whenever I first got this album, was when it came out, and I was at the time heavy into Pink Floyd's The Wall. I would listen to that over and over and over again. The album, not necessarily the movie, but the album. And I remember thinking, it's funny because I didn't know that about the whole suicide aspect of the album. But I remember thinking whenever I had listened to this a couple of times that it was basically, it reminded me a lot of The Wall. How The Wall starts and then it's got a middle section and then it kind of ends the way it does. Just to kind of summarize that real quick. But this album reminded me of The Wall if The Wall had lived underground for about 100 years and then came out and was just nasty, dirty, and just not suitable for the public, I guess. It was it's laid out a lot of the same way The Wall is in listening to it, and it's just a dirty version of The Wall.
It's funny you say that because I read today that it was Trent Reznor had The Wall in mind. It was heavily influenced by
That's
The Wall.
crazy.
Yeah.
But it's a great album. It's got some awesome songs, and for the time, highly controversial album. Not just because of the lyrics. There was a lot of sexual, I wouldn't even say innuendo, just a lot of right there in your face kind of sex stuff, especially with the song Closer.
Right.
But
one
just,
of the singles, though.
Yeah, one of the singles. Exactly.
Right. One of the only 2 singles with a video. March of the Pigs and Closer were the 2 first singles, and both had videos. The other ones were Piggy and Hurt.
And Hurt, yeah. Hurt was really awesome whenever we were at the concert because they had the screen come down and then play the video, the black and white video, which actually a lot of that footage was on the video that was on MTV.
Right.
That it was just an awesome concert. But It's just just the way the videos were made and shot reminded me a lot of Tool, you know, at the time with the video for Closer.
Right.
And that video in itself is, in my opinion, it's got to be one of the best videos ever made. I mean, it's just a little miniature cinematic masterpiece, I think. That fits this album perfectly. So whoever was responsible for making that video, I mean, they just nailed it right on the head. A music video for a song on an album couldn't have been made any better. Perfect match. All right, so you've tasted the beer.
Yes.
You want to talk about the beer now?
Let's talk about the beer.
Let's talk about the beer. The ABV on this again is, well, I haven't even said it yet, is 6.4%. And as Keith said, as soon as you open it up,
it smells like dead up like a bag of weed.
It does, yeah.
It does. But my thoughts on it, every 420 strain from Sweetwater has been above and beyond my expectations. They've just been, the first one's a wheat ale and then a IPA, and both of them were like, shocked the hell out of me that they were so good. It just seems like such a novelty that it smells like weed. That it could be any good, but those are good. And this one did not fail me.
Didn't disappoint you,
I mean, it's the same. It's tasty and it's so much fun that it smells like weed.
This is probably the manliest beer I think I've ever stout that I've ever had. Well, I'll just say beer in general. Obviously, we've already said what it's like when you first even crack the can open. Second of all, it's a stout. So I mean, you're drinking. There's nothing better, I think, than a dark beer in a glass with a nice head on it. And third, we talked about this before we started this video as we was reading more about this beer. It leaves a taste of being out in the woods.
Yeah.
We were talking about conifers and stuff like that earlier, and I can taste that in the beer. So the aroma is great, the taste is great, the color, you couldn't get better.
It's a good chocolate stout.
Man, it is.
It's tasty. It's got that coffee, chocolatey flavor.
Yep.
Let's read the can if I can see it without my glasses.
You want me to read it? Okay, I'll try to read it without any help. So the 420 strain is Back in Black, and it is black. We said we should have done an AC/DC album with this. With a chocolatey stout and a head-turning aroma, our unholy trinity of hope, hops. Is it hops? It's hops. Our unholy trinity of hops, strain-specific.
You gotta say the word.
Terpenes. That's how I'm saying it. Terpenes and natural hemp-type flavors complement a roasty malt backbone, resulting in a dreamy medley. Whoever wrote this is a lyrical genius here. A dreamy melody of mouth-watering flavors. Tropical fruit on the inhale. I didn't get that on the inhale.
I didn't.
I did not. Coffee on the exhale.
Yes.
Yes, and gooey chocolate all the way through.
I agree with that. I do. Coffee on the exhale, gooey chocolate all the way through.
I don't get any tropical fruit out of it, but I don't know. I get cannabis out of it. I don't get any chocolatey or tropical fruit.
Why do you know what weed smells like, James?
I've read a lot about weed, marijuana, cannabis.
All those bad kids at parties that we both left right away.
Right away, as soon as
the weed came out, we both left.
Yes, and you always knew who those kids were.
Yes.
As soon as I got to those parties. So
if they're smoking weed, I'm going home.
Yeah, but can't be around that. I'm gonna go home and drink some beer. Or in my days, Wild Turkey. So.
Yes.
All right, but yeah, I agree. This is Sweetwater just nails it with everything that we've had so far, I think.
Yes.
I mean, they just nail it. It's a good company.
I like them just as much as Three Floyds.
Mm-hmm. I agree, Keith. All right. So, what else we want to talk about? We're listening to some badass music. This is actually one of my favorite songs on the album.
Yes.
And the video is just simple yet badass all at the same time, because if I remember correctly, they're just in a white room and they're just playing instruments. And then, for lack of a better term, during the breakdowns in the song, they're just throwing shit around, or he's throwing a microphone around or whatever. And then he comes back and then he goes on with the rest of the song and stuff. But it's a really good song, and I think that and Closer both kind of fit in together in the album right where they're at. And a lot of times with an album, it bothers me if a couple of songs are in the order and they just don't fit in where they're at. So we had some technical difficulties, but we're back now.
We're back!
Closer comes in at a great part of the album, and it just it kind of slows everything down a little bit with the beginning of the song the way it is, but then it just kicks in, and then it gets you ready for the rest of the album, I think.
Right.
And I just love the whole thing about this album, the way it's produced, the way the songs are put on the album, just everything about it. It's just, like I said earlier, a fucking masterpiece.
Yes.
And I love it.
I agree.
And I love it.
I want to talk for a brief moment about album formats.
Do it.
So, the format on which you listen to an album.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, the only way that I've listened to this album prior to James letting me borrow it was digitally.
Mm-hmm.
So, my first was compact disc, which is a digital format.
Right.
And then, of course, digital download or
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah, streaming and stuff like that. Yeah.
And various things. But I've listened to it for years, and but when he let me borrow this last year before, whenever it was, on vinyl, it was like listen to it for the first time again.
Yeah, I felt the same way when I listened to it on vinyl for the first time. Yeah.
It is, despite what anybody disagrees with or agrees with, I don't care what you got to say, this album for me proved that music sounds better on vinyl.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
It is so much richer and more in depth. It's not the fact of a place I am in life or anything like that.
Yeah, not a nostalgia kind of thing or a trendy hippie kind of thing.
It was like the music had new life and came at me and gripped me and grabbed me with tentacles or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. I think right away I told James, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this album on vinyl.
Right, and have you listened to it with headphones?
I haven't listened to it.
You should do that. It brings out little nuances that you probably never even heard of yet, on the album. That's like that with a lot of albums that I listen to. I'll put headphones on and I'll hear just little things that the needle picks up that you won't get on a streaming or you won't get on CD. I mean, don't get me wrong, CDs sound great and they're a format to be, still respected, I guess, but streaming and downloading like on your phone off iTunes or whatever, that is more of a convenience kind of thing, I think.
Yes.
It's not a serious music listener, audiophile, however you want to say it. That is not a serious way to listen to music. That's like, I'm going for a jog and I'm going to listen to music, or I don't want to carry 500 CDs in my car, so I'm going to put it on my phone.
Right.
But just sitting down and listening to it, Keith, I agree. If it's on vinyl, do it every time.
Right.
Get a record.
That's why we're here, motherfuckers.
Yeah, we're here to spread the word on an ancient technology that I think is far superior than anything out there today.
Right.
I mean, it's simple. It hasn't changed a whole lot. It's a turntable and a phonograph, basically. That's what it is.
Closest thing to an actual musical instrument, I think, because you've got the vibrations.
Yes, with the libations.
Yes.
See what I did there? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we said earlier we're not rating the album. That would be disrespectful to even try to give it a rating, I think, to the album. Congratulations to Trent Reznor also on his recent Country Music Award
Oh man,
prize. Had to throw that in there.
I forgot about that, James.
Well, you know, he's what can I say? He's a
hate
Renaissance man, I
I hate
guess.
that fucking song, and I hope he got overpaid for it. I hope he raped the hell out of him. I hope he fucked him like an animal.
Yeah, yeah. Very good, very good. All right. So, what else we got to talk about? Anything? You want to add to it?
No.
No? Okay. Well,
I like this beer. Let's rate the
It
beer.
is.
We
Let's
can
do
rate
it.
the beer.
yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna give it. 5 out of 5.
I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5.
4.5 out of 5. All right. I like the taste of it. It doesn't have a horrible aftertaste. I don't think it's sometimes you look at this kind of stuff and you think, well, that's just a gimmick. I don't think this is a gimmick. I think it's a solid beer to stand up with any stout that I've had in the past.
Right? I agree. It's smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It says chocolate stout on there, and it is a chocolate stout. It's got
Yeah.
everything I want out of a chocolate stout, with a bonus of fun. It's like
Yeah.
it's like here's your chocolate stout and some confetti.
Yeah. That's awesome. If only they could get a widget in there or something that would pop out confetti
Right.
when you opened it up. That would be perfect. So Sweetwater, think about that and add that to next year's releases of beer. So all right. So yeah, I give it a 5 out of 5. Keith gives it a 4.5 out of 5. So.
Right.
The album is unrateable. We don't need to do that. So leave us some comments down below. How do you like the video? Have you tried the beer? Give us some more suggestions of beers to try.
If
Bring
you
them
have
stouts.
not,
Just bring them on. Bring them on.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
If you have not listened to Nine Inch Nails on vinyl format,
Oh yes.
find it, buy it, borrow it,
Yes.
do it, and then post down below what your thoughts are on that. Was it a reawakening for you?
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't like it before. You listened to it, excuse me.
That's all right.
You listened to it on vinyl and you're like, oh man, that pushes it over the edge. You know? I love it now.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think about that.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So this brings the episode to an end, I guess, and we appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Leave some comments down below. Tell us what you think. Go back and watch some other videos. Sure, we've done some videos on some beer that you like or maybe would like, and some music that you like. And leave us some comments on those videos as well. Also, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Vibrations and Libations, and all those social media type outlets. Look for us on those.
And I have to add one more thing.
Good.
That's James.
I'm James. That's Keith.
I'm Keith.
Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, stay safe.
Bye-bye.